Hey guys, welcome back. This is Heather Hope Reed with the Inspired Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing? Happy Friday to you guys. Okay, so I want to jump into today's topic. I am pulling this from my book, The Inspired Entrepreneur, and it is today's date, July 16th. So if you do have a copy of the book, you can read along. It's literally 2 sentences, but you can. If you don't have the book yet, you can pick it up on Amazon. Okay, so I was flipping through a couple pages, and then I did go ahead and flip to today's, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's the right one. Okay, so it says, if you don't know, the Inspired Entrepreneur is 366 days of basically the law of attraction for your business and money and life too. But so you can flip to any page. You can flip to the current day's page for kind of like a fortune cookie, kind of like a message for you. Okay. Allow your thoughts to go bigger. Expand upon the vision you have. Okay, so these are really great reminders because so often, since we're human and since we're distracted all the time, right? Tell me that you're not, and that would be awesome. But I try not to get too distracted. I feel like I'm distracted plenty by things that I do, but I have taken so many things out of my life that were distracting. But these messages are very short and to the point, and most of them are just reminders of, hey, in your distracted world over there, here's something that you need to hear right now. So allow your thoughts to go bigger. Expand upon the vision you have. Okay, so let me tell you, the reason why I chose this is because of this thing that I went through a few weeks ago, probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I went through this kind of contrast. Basically, I had a freak out, and I was just frustrated with life, I guess, with my life. And it just kind of, I don't know what I was doing. You know, when you have those moments of, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know. Maybe I had too many things I was trying to do. Maybe, I don't know. I was kind of lost. And I started writing. Like, I totally went on this flip out, just really emotional. And so I kind of like sat in my bed, took out my journal, and I started writing some things. And some stuff came out, and then it led to, I think I spoke about it this week briefly. I forgot the woman's name. I do know it now, but let me share with you what I wrote. Let me see how much of this I can actually share, but because it brought me to where I am right now, which I've done so much in the last 3 or 4 weeks that it's blown my mind because of that day of contrast, that day of freaking out and getting mad, getting upset, crying, just everything, because it just felt like I just wasn't on the path I wanted to be on. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Everything I want are things, but who do I want to be? What is the purpose of being here? Who do I want to be? Why be here if it's just stuff I want? But in between things, I will surely be bored. There's more to life than things, but I have not read this since I wrote it, basically. But I'm living like that's all I want, just things. My work has to be more. I like a bigger purpose. I really loved what I was doing before. When I was a therapist, I loved my purpose. I loved what I did. At least that's what I believe. I was proud of what I did and what I accomplished. So this next thing I put a star next to it because it's such a big deal for me. This is a big deal for me. If I'm not doing something bigger, I'm denying who I am. If I'm not honoring who I am, I'm not fully connected. Now I believe, so that weekend, I was going through like this physics course through another person that I've been following briefly. And I got through that really quick, but I started that the day before. And so that week I was going through that. Didn't really learn anything because I had already learned it before. But through that course, I found Anita. Let's see if I can talk. Anita Morjani. If you don't know Anita Morjani, you have to read her book. She had a near-death experience, and I saw her TED Talk in the course that I was taking, and I was like, that's really cool. I like her message, and her whole story, like everything is really cool. And so I grabbed her audiobook and I listened to it. It took like one entire 24-hour period to listen to this book because it was so good. And how she described her experience is exactly word for word, feeling, emotion, all of that, as how Abraham Hicks and Bashar talk about non-physical, talk about unconditional love, source, all of that. Like, it's just so spot on. The whole time I was just like shaking my head. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I have felt from Abraham and Bashar. So, so she went on, she cured her stage 4, like the cancer that was killing her. She cured the cancer from her near-death experience. She came back. She chose life. She came back and cured it within days or weeks, whatever you want to. It was like what they call a medical miracle. And how she describes it is just so incredible. So if that speaks to you, go get it. I highly recommend the audiobook because she reads it and it's really good. Anyhow, so that weekend after this freak out and after writing about this and looking at my life of all I want are things. I got to this point of I've accomplished a lot in my life that I keep forgetting about. I've had careers previously that, and so now at this point I'm just manifesting things. And I do know that I get bored between manifesting things, between the things. After you manifest something, it's like, oh, okay, what's next? And then you just, and I didn't feel like I had this purpose anymore. So between the physics course, kind of the quantum physics sort of course that I took from this other person, of all probabilities exist, and really, really go big. He's a what's it? He's a what's it called? A physics. What is that called? Physics. Good Lord. I'm recording this 11 o'clock last night. So for you guys, so 11 o'clock. I'm like, no, I do want to do this. A physics person, whatever, trained physics. Gosh, forgive me for sounding like I just don't even know what to say. But anyhow, thinking big, bigger, just go big. Just like Abraham says, it's the same. It doesn't take any more work or effort or anything to manifest a button as a castle or a button, right? He says the same thing. He doesn't say that, but he actually doesn't believe in the law of attraction, even though everything he said in this course was precisely what I teach in law of attraction. So I don't think he understands what law of attraction is. A lot of scientists don't because they think it's BS. It's we're all saying the same thing. We're all literally saying the same thing. It's why I didn't learn anything from his course. Nothing, because it's all the stuff that I've been doing and teaching myself. And he doesn't believe in law of attraction, and I'm just that's all I do. So we're saying the same things. You just don't want to admit it. So so anyway, that's so much fun. But I got that from him because he has made a ton of money in businesses that he's created, tons, hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's there were times that he should have thought even bigger. That was one of his only things that he looks back on it is I should have just thought even bigger than that. And he was thinking bigger than anybody could possibly think at the time about the things that he was doing. And so he's like, it doesn't matter. The size doesn't matter. And yes, I laugh at that comment, but the size doesn't matter to the universe. You just have to get on board with it. So think bigger. So between that course and between listening to Anita Moorjani, it was the most incredible few days in a long time in my life. And so I wrote this, right? The thing I just read to you. And I thought, I have to do something bigger in life. That's just me. That's me. Like I have to have a bigger purpose. So Anita has this amazing speaking and writing career based off of her near-death experience. This happened a while back, like 15 years ago. And she started sharing her story online. And one day, Wayne Dyer was sent her story. And when he actually read it, he was just floored. He's like, yes, we have to find this woman. So he talked to the president of Hay House and was like, you have to find this woman and you have to get a book deal with her and I will write the foreword. There was like no asking. It was like, you must do this because it's so powerful. And so it took 5 months to track her down because she only had Anita M on her story that she shared online. And they tracked her down and they were like, hey, it was on her birthday that she got the email. Like all these really cool synchronicities that happened. It's just a really cool story. And so she went on, like she got her book done and she went on speaking tour with Wayne Dyer for 4 years, and it's just an incredible career. And she's written a couple of books and it's just really incredible. So she really helps people, especially people with health concerns, basically the same sort of work, right? She's more spiritual. This is all spiritual. But, all of this, what we talk about here, she talks about it and she writes about it, and she's this incredible example and of how we can heal ourselves through the way that we feel, the way that we think, the way that we feel, right? And so through reading all this and through like, I got to do something with my life because I want to do something bigger. And I got this turning point of like, I don't want just things. I want a purpose to be here again. When I was a therapist, I loved what I did. I was proud of what I did. I loved my clients, all that good stuff. I didn't want to be a therapist again, but I have something, and I talked about it the other day, of like, I completely cured my major depression, my suicidal depression of 25 years. I cured that completely through the power of the law of attraction. Just like Anita Moorjani did, curing her stage 4 deathbed cancer through the law of attraction / spirituality / source energy / whatever you want to call this, right? It's all the same. God energy, whatever, right? Infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call this stuff. So she helps people with anything, but like, so I'm sitting here like, yes, I'm still here doing the Inspired Entrepreneur. I'm still here, doing some of this stuff. And so it just dawned on me, go bigger. So I went back to my framed identity, my identity that I have framed on my desk, and I updated some things to it. And then, I started writing my book on depression and the law of attraction. I was just writing. I've got it right here in front of me, just writing and writing, meditating and writing. And then I decided to turn it into a course. And then I started a PhD program in metaphysical counseling, which fits so brilliantly with what I'm doing. And so 'cause I've always wanted to get my doctorate. I've been in 2 doctorate programs previously. And due to one of them was money, I ran out of student loans. And another one was I was really burnt out. It was right after my master's degree. I was really burnt out. I was so done. So there was, so I didn't complete them. But it was kind of in the back of my mind every so often. But so here it is. So now I'm super psyched about what I'm doing. And this all changed. So, the thing about when we continue doing this work, life can change in a day. Your whole life can change in such a quick moment. If you just keep doing the work, keep meditating, keep, expecting good things to happen, keep, focusing on feeling good, you can take breaks in your life. Like I've taken a few breaks of like, I don't really feel like doing anything, so I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm just going to enjoy where I am right now. Like I'm just going to watch comedy shows and laugh, and I'm just going to color in my adult coloring books every, 6 months. And, I'm going to just relax for a while. And that's, I do that. And then I kind of regroup and like, okay, now what do I want to do? So think bigger. Think bigger. Like if you could, and you can, if you could, you can take out a piece of paper and write down exactly what you want in your life. Like no holds barred. Everything. Since all probabilities exist, what is it that you want? If every single possibility exists already, what do you want? Get super honest with what you want. The more honest you are, the more pure this is going to be. And, when you actually go towards what you want, when you're honest about what you really, really want, it's so much easier to accomplish. It's so much easier. When you go after things you don't really want, it's hard. It's harder. When you don't really want it, there's not much energy there. It's like, eh. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people aren't successful, because they're just going after mediocre goals. So think bigger. Listen to the audiobook, The Magic of Thinking. What is it? It's right behind me. I didn't want to turn around. The Magic of Thinking Big. That's an incredible audiobook. Listen to that on YouTube. It's incredible. Anything. The 4-Hour Work Week. The first couple of chapters, Tim Ferriss talks about going bigger. It's really good. The beginning of his book is really good. That's as far as I got the second time I read it. But, well, no, that's not as far as I got. It's a good book. I've read it a couple times. But all of these people, these like really massively successful people, tell you to think bigger. So I think I'm going to listen to those people, especially, this physicist. Oh, that's what it is. Duh, Jesus. This physicist talking about he wished he went bigger. He sold 3 companies, all for $100 million each. He's got 3 or 4 more companies that he's started that are going to go for at least that much. $100 million that are worth more now than a few years ago. And people didn't believe him when he was building them that they were going to be so big. And yeah, he just was like, I wish I would have thought bigger than that, because it was already like he was delusional. That's why, he's on the team. Don't tell people your goals, because they're going to be like, what? You're insane. What are you talking about? Only tell the people. Like he says, no one. Look, I mean, for me, I have my husband that doesn't have any judgment whatsoever. Sometimes he doesn't have a response, which kind of like makes me think, like, what? Like, why are you not jumping up and down? Like, that's really cool. So think bigger. But really, if you're not quite sure what you're doing or you're unhappy with what you're doing currently, just really do some soul searching, because that's what turned my stuff around. And, I got back into the depression stuff to, help others get out of depression, because for me, that is it's an enormous gift. It's an enormous purpose when I think about that. And the longer that it takes me to write this thing or to record the videos or whatever the modality I'm going to release it with, it's like the longer I wait, it's kind of an injustice if you think of it that way, right? Some people say that. But because there's so many people dealing with it. I mean, this course or this book isn't necessarily for everybody. It should be. But, I have my specific steps. And I've never seen a course like this for depression. I've barely seen a course like that. Well, maybe I have with Law of Attraction, but like my course for overcoming depression is literally steps. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And they're not like, oh, okay, well, meditate, like with my journal of meditate, visualize, and write stuff out. Like that's part of a step. That's like the stuff to do to help, but those aren't the steps. Like the steps are big steps. Like they're big deal things to do. Looking back, through everything that I've done and learned, I'm like, okay, now I know like the kind of like the beeline shortcut of now how to do this and how to teach it. And it's a lot easier than what I went through. Because when I ended up curing I learned all of this and it just got me better and better. So there you go. So guys, have an amazing rest of your Friday. Have an amazing weekend. I am going to, I'm starting on my thesis very, very soon. It's a master's and PhD program. Starting on my thesis, I'm actually going to write my thesis, I believe, on money and energy, or metaphysics and money, like trying to understand money and energy more, how that all works. And then my dissertation is going to be about depression and law of attraction, which is cool. So those are my two topics: money/business and depression. So, okay. So have an amazing weekend, and I will be back on Monday, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.